Live. Hi.
Hi.
Hi, please introduce
Hello.
yourself.
So hi, I'm Mateusz. I'm a commercial guy in Noctiluca, dealing with all sorts of connections with the outside world, with clients, partners, our scientific advisors and business advisors. And with me, there's also Alicia,
Hi.
a chemist. Yes. A word of two or introduction on your side.
Yeah, hi. I'm Alicia and I'm an R&D specialist in Noctiluca. And I, on a daily basis, work in the lab.
And where are you right now?
Okay, I'm in Toruń and in our headquarters. And Mateusz?
So just
The
to warm
same.
people a little bit, is that
In the
I'm in China
same.
right now, and you are on the other side of the world, right? So we hope that the
Yeah,
connection is going to be stable. We're going to try.
Hopefully, yes. We are in the middle of Europe and Poland, so absolutely. And
I
Toruń
see
is
those.
actually a nice city in Poland with a lot of heritage, both cultural and also scientific base. So yeah, check it out on the map if you have the
yeah.
time.
Nice. I see some. This is one of your videos right there, and people can check it out on YouTube, right? So if I click here from the beginning, so what do we see in the video?
Emitters for OLED displays at its
So
laboratory in Toruń.
from the beginning,
Japanese
Alicia,
emitters
perhaps
are
you'll be able to say in a second, on a live feed, but we are showing the our materials, our lab. This is these are also where our materials, the chemicals that we are manufacturing, are being used. What are the use cases? What are the functions that they have? And also, what sort of a business angle we take while talking about them with our partners.
So you make the materials that make the OLED.
Yes. So perhaps we've seen one another like a year ago, but for those of us of your followers who are not do not remember that previous video, Noctiluca is a chemical company. We are designers and manufacturers of chemical compounds that when you apply electricity to them, they glow. And they are a basic building block of screens like you use in like everyday use and on TVs, smartphones, wearables, and so on and so forth. So if you look into one of those devices, you'll see that they have a screen. And if you would just pile off this from I don't know your smartphone, the screen part, you'll see that it consists of many layers, layers that are thin as a fraction of the width of a human hair. And the most important layer in there is the layer that emits light, that makes the display glow. And we make materials that are dedicated for that layer.
That's awesome. And how is it going in your office? So
Alicia,
maybe
I think
Okay, so
these
yeah,
are
so
good
okay.
and interesting news. Yeah.
Yeah, let me just show you our new laboratory. So it's a brand new place for us. So basically, we just move into the new space where we can do all these amazing chemical compounds. As you can see, girls are working. It's a scientific discussion, and you can see how we're working here. Of course, you can see that the new lab is a state of art, and we have all the equipment for doing our best job in synthesizing new compounds, new emitters. And as you can see, we also have not only things to synthesize, but also to check out if our compounds are really something worth investing.
And who are all these guys we can see there? Your colleagues?
Yeah.
How's the team?
Okay. They
So
are right now discussing the obstacles during their synthesis, but girls are really into this, as you can see, and as well as our other colleague.
So can you describe the company? How's it been going since we did the last video?
Okay.
So since last year, I believe we and this is where Noctiluca has started, where we started off into the market as a new materials provider. It's we started like an in-house research lab that would and still is building its proprietary portfolio of materials. A year after, we not only still continue our proprietary work on best next generation OLED materials, but also we are working with the market in the chemical contract research organization model. So it's a service model where companies come to us as experts in chemistry and help us, look for us in us for help in developing new materials for other layers than only emissive layer in OLEDs. We also have a third business leg that is connected to all the known materials that are manufactured by the scientific community and are needed in the top quality, which means that we are also manufacturers of materials. And today we probably in this lab and in other parts of this lab, we have over 100 kilograms of manufacturing capacity per year, which is a very decent capacity. Yeah, so these are the major changes from last year. I would say that a business model has expanded from just in-house research to chemical CRO and custom synthesis. There are two new business legs. And as you can see, our 21st century lab is on. We used to work in a slightly different setup that was probably closer to Breaking Bad, sort of a setup. Today we've moved to the 21st century.
And so are you like super famous in the industry? Everybody knows about your technology, or are you changing the world slowly or fast?
We're definitely on a map. There are only a handful of companies that have taken on the challenge of bringing new, very specialized materials to the market in the display industry. We are also listed on Polish Stock Exchange. Actually, we call it like Polish Nasdaq. So it's a part of a stock exchange dedicated to technology companies. And if you've invested a year ago into Noctiluca, today you have seen a 500% stock price growth in the last 12 months. So I think our investors are happy. We are happy with that also. So if that's the measure of the trust that is being put into the company, we definitely are on a certain wave, and we want to take that wave and change a few things and shake few things in the industry, definitely.
So here I put your slides. So you have a slide presentation. Maybe you can talk a little bit about it.
Sure thing. So if you look at Noctiluca, as I mentioned before, we started off as this in-house research powerhouse, and today we are a company that is very much a global organization. We have an R&D team that you're looking at here in Toruń, Poland, but we also have a team in Korea that does the testing in devices. We also have team members in US. So while the R&D team is very much, location based because they have to be in one place, all the business development is done in a distributed fashion. And yes, so that's a first point. Second point, if you go through those slides, you'll see perhaps a little bit more information of how we've built that, that network from scratch, being a fairly young company, because we work with globally established institutes and universities like THU, ITRI in Taiwan, Fraunhofer in Germany. We work with global companies like tier one companies, LG, TCL. We also already have distributors in Japan like Filgen, or paying clients like German Inuru. I don't think it transpired last year, but we're also a part of a Syntax and Technologies group, which has been around for almost 20 years. And they have served the biggest corporates out there. So UPL, Sumitomo, Johnson & Johnson, in a number of industries across, pharma industry, agri-tech industry, and so on and so forth. So the team behind Noctiluca, while we are a fairly young legal entity, the team behind Noctiluca has been working together for us over a decade, in some cases 15 years together, as a part of this mother organization as well. And of course, lately we've been listed on the Polish Stock Exchange, which that gives us certain a very substantial level of financial stability, but also it makes us very transparent. So if you go to our website, you'll find a monthly report for our investor community. So I don't know if there are any other early stage companies like Noctiluca who are so transparent. If you go to the Polish website, the PL here, unfortunately we're on Polish Stock Exchange, so the reports are in Polish, and investors, it's here exactly. And you'll see here, you'll be able to, the reports is the SP and EBI thing.
Is it this?
No, not this one, but this one is, it's if you go to the, yes, on the left side, you have start, and then you have like exactly here. So you get reports on every single thing that's happening in Noctiluca, like full transparency. It's every major event that influences our what is happening in the company is reflected there, and with some Google Translator you'll definitely be able to read it in English as well, or in French if that's your preference. So yeah, and this, if you go back to the slides, you'll see that it's not happening from from thin air. It's not that it's coming from out of nowhere. Poland, in just last couple of years, has become an economic powerhouse. I think in the next slide we will show the statistics there. In last 30 years, in last 30 years, Poland has been, in terms of a GDP growth, has been only surpassed by China, which is an amazing journey from post-communist country to today's European economic powerhouse. And on top of that, we have a fantastic STEM education, and then the being the largest country in the Central and Eastern Europe, we get so much brain power coming into the workforce every single year, that, well, simply put, we're well positioned to build companies like Noctiluca at large in our local ecosystems. And that, I think, is yet unnoticed by the broader economic analysts and observers here.
That sounds awesome. So there's a lot of potential here, and you are are you doing something that's really revolutionizing the whole display industry, or it sounds like it's even
Absolutely.
more than that?
We started with the display industry. Yes, absolutely. And this is where the in-house research, started off. But we as a publicly listed company, we don't stop there because whether you uh, make the change happen in the display industry uh, is based on many other mm, I would say circumstances, like the readiness of these big companies to go there, or other market dynamics. So that's why we've branched out to other areas, which I believe can be a game changer going further. We see a lot of interest into the chemical CRO business. For example, because of the rise of AI, you can design any sort of material, any sort of molecule, but at the end of the day, someone has to manufacture it, show that it works in the physical world, not only on the calculation level. And we are these guys. We are the guys who can do that, and we've been doing that for a long time.
Are you saying that you could take the AI to figure out new materials and you will check it out if it's a good idea?
Yeah, like you know to take it outside of a chemistry context, like you can ask AI to design a building, but someone has to build it, make sure that it's safe for people, make sure that it's livable, and you can actually raise such a building from the ground up. So there are more and more companies out there in the world who are using predictive models or AI, or however you would name the algorithm, to design a new material. But then you need the builders. Then you need the experienced people who will tell you, okay, that is theoretically an interesting material, but it won't be scalable. The process of manufacturing this material won't be scalable because, I don't know, it's explosive. One part of the journey to get to this material is dangerous for people around. So, this sort of expertise with our hands and brains is what we bring to the table there.
And maybe Alicia, do you want to say something about the potential, like the opportunities that there are in the job and of a chemist?
Yeah.
What is it to be a chemist?
It's amazing because you honestly just can try maybe not everything but almost everything to if that's really work, if that what they told you during your studies is working actually. But for me it is also the possibility to work with other young and really passionate people. It's an amazing opportunity because after my studies I can work in a place where I can develop my skills and to enrich my knowledge. It's amazing.
It sounds great. Maybe you can try to. Can you switch your camera? It seems like on my side, looks like. Oh, there you're back.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know if the signal is, here in Shenzhen, I've got a bad signal, or something. You have pretty fast internet, though, in your city.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
yeah.
5G everywhere.
5G.
Yeah.
It's probably some kind of issue with my streaming system here or something like that. It looks like, Alicia, you're getting disconnected a little bit.
Oh, okay. I will
Are you on the Wi-Fi?
Yes.
Okay. So maybe
and while Alicia is figuring out the network thing, it's also fascinating, the journey for a company like ours, to see that we are being located in the part of the world that was very often disregarded, or perhaps wasn't on the map when it comes to high technology development, and it was omitted in a certain sense, we can and we are delivering new technologies, high tech solutions and services to the biggest and most advanced multinationals out there. So I think this change is where the magic happens. So as Alicia said, making these materials a reality, not just coming straight from university or just after a couple of years into the industry, you're working with giants, basically, LGs and Samsung and Apples of this world. And this is something you don't always have an opportunity to experience.
As a European, I'm so looking forward to see Europe have a bigger and bigger role in the future of technology, all from the small tech to the big tech. And it's great to see that you're doing something important, right? That everybody needs what you're doing.
Absolutely, and the thing is, like, Europe and generally the Western world, to large extent, has lost a battle for manufacturing capacities of material of the equipment that we use today. But it doesn't mean that the battle is lost for the future. Like new devices, new displays, or new niche applications can still be produced here. The original thought definitely can come from here. Whether the manufacturing will stay here or not, that's a big question. But we are still in the game, especially if you think about the printing electronics. That this promise of a new printed future, flexible and transparent devices and displays, is something that we can realize in Europe or in Western countries. You don't have to think only of Korea and China as a source of these solutions.
When you talk about 100 kg, how many displays are we talking about?
So, Alicia, correct me if I'm wrong, but a 50-inch TV uses a couple of milligrams of emitter. So even in some cases, less than 1 milligram of emitter, right?
So
or is it 1 gram? Sorry, less than 1 gram of emitters. So when we are talking 100 kilograms, we are talking hundreds or even thousands of TVs, right?
So it's hundreds of thousands of TVs, maybe.
Yeah.
And how is your material different from? Is your competitor somebody like Merck, or how does it work?
Yes, to a certain extent, yes. Though it seems like Merck has stepped out of the game and sold its patent portfolio to UDC, a company listed on Nasdaq. Basically, in a game for next generation materials, we are. We last year we had 2 other competitors. This year it seems that we are left with 1 competitor, which is Japanese company Kilox. And this is what we call a competition or race for the new generation of materials in the 3rd and 4th generation of materials, while the incumbent and the monopolist for the 2nd generation of materials is the company that I've just named, the Universal Display Corporation. And and a 3rd competitor that we had, Sinora, has been bought out by Samsung last year, which is an interesting market development. It makes the pool of this market, like, makers and shakers smaller and smaller by the year, and it shows how competitive this market is when it comes for brain power and ideas. Wherever something is good, someone is snatching it up. Some of the big guys is snatching it up.
And you have to be extremely precise in the way you purify the material. Is that how it works, or?
Alicia, perhaps I'll give the voice to you. You know, what sort of purity do we get, and how do we how do we get there?
Oh,
Alicia, we don't
your sound.
hear your voice, unfortunately.
Yeah. Oh, so sorry. Need to get you back. You were muted, but now you're not muted anymore, hopefully. Can you, yeah, try again? Oh, maybe, do you mind trying to reconnect? Maybe refresh the browser. You're using the smartphone, right? Yeah. Sorry, it's, yeah, maybe there's some kind of bug or something like that. Let's see if we can get Alicia reconnected. I'm going to play a video for a second while we wait, and then we'll be right back.
Noctiluca designs, develops, and manufactures next-generation emitters for OLED displays at its laboratory in Torun. The company's emitters are, in simple terms, powdered chemical compounds which emit light when exposed to electricity. They are a key component of displays. Such emitters may be used in many devices: TVs, laptops, smartphones, wearables, and many other types of consumer electronics.
Noctiluca to spółka, której nie brakuje ambicji. Najbliższy czas to nowi klienci, partnerzy, to także przechodzenie na coraz bardziej zaawansowane i coraz bardziej obiecujące etapy współpracy już z obecnymi partnerami.
It takes an entire team consisting of experts from fields such as business development, IP protection, research work, and production in order for the technologies developed by Noctiluca to succeed commercially. Adequate laboratory facilities are also a necessity. Noctiluca's target market is the industry of chemical materials used in OLED technology, which is entering a stage of market dominance. It is estimated that by 2026, the OLED market will be worth around $73 billion, accounting for 41% of the market for all displays.
W ostatnich miesiącach znacząco zwiększyliśmy moce produkcyjne naszego laboratorium i obecnie jesteśmy w stanie wyprodukować kilkadziesiąt kilogramów naszych materiałów rocznie. Mając takie zaplecze, rozbudowujemy nasz zespół chemików i chcemy go podwoić w ciągu najbliższego roku. Warto też pamiętać, że nasze prace syntetyczne wykonujemy tu, w Toruniu, natomiast badanie naszych materiałów w naszym zespole w Korei.
Noctiluca is recognized primarily for its original emitters for OLED displays. Their development is a priority, as this technology is the focus of the world's biggest players. With some of them, Noctiluca has signed contracts, some are already testing the company's solutions. But that's not all Noctiluca is working on.
Poza pracami nad rozwojem własnych materiałów do OLED, Noctiluca prowadzi również syntezy na zlecenie i usługową działalność badawczą jako Chemical CRO.
Noctiluca, a company listed on the New Connect market of the Warsaw Stock Exchange. Be a part of...
All right. And
Okay.
hopefully right there, Alicia, you're back.
Okay. Can you hear me now?
Yeah. Yeah. So
Great.
what were you going to say? Do you remember?
Okay, so basically the purity of the compounds should be like 99.999%. So it's a really pure compound. So it's a challenge not only to create such compound, but also to purify these compounds. And we're working on it, and we're doing our best because it's crucial for this technology to use the most the purest compounds as possible.
How does it work to
Yeah, and
purify?
there are several methods of purification, just so you know. It's not like, again, Alicia, you're the expert here, but yeah, you know, there are a number of purification methods, right?
Yeah, of course. It's basically one of the method actually is part of our other, I would say, leg of the companies, because sublimation process is also something which we use during our purification process. And that was the inspiration to use it not only for our compounds, but also for our clients. But of course, crystallization, and I don't want to just give you too much details, but that's a lot of different techniques, and we must to know all of them, because we never know which one will be the best for the compound which we want to purify.
Yeah.
Are you
And
like these-
Nicholas, you
sorry, please go ahead.
sorry, go ahead. Don't worry.
Are you like these alchemists who have the secret recipe?
Yeah, I can say that's partially true. Of course, we cannot reveal our secrets. So we are kind of alchemists. Yeah, that's something nice to say, because for us it's something like magic sometimes, because it's so cool and satisfying that, yeah, we can say that.
Is it the coolest job for a chemist?
I would say yes, because you can totally use your brain to just create something new, something which is working in your phones, in your TVs. So yeah, I would say it's really satisfying, and I would say the coolest job which I can have after my studies.
Are there a lot of brilliant chemists in Poland? Or they're all working in your building?
No, but we're trying to take the most talented people and just bring them here, so we can create the technology on the top of tops. So yeah, it's something like this.
But yes, we are hiring, by the way. So
Yeah.
if any one of you guys feel like taking on the challenge of make it in the display industry, we're absolutely hiring. We hire across across Europe. We also have some people from Korea coming. We would love to have some people with Japanese or Chinese origin as well, so that all the mindsets, all the different approaches to chemistry and to the industry are represented within our walls.
What are the opportunities for chemists, like in the world? You can do stuff that has to do with industry, or stuff that has to do with medicine, or stuff that has to do with technology. Is that right, or how does it work?
Yeah. Basically, we're working in a technology, just like you said, but also, of course, medicine, because all drugs are organic compounds. So of course, it's very important to hire chemists, but also agriculture. I would say the chemistry is everywhere. So in a food, in a medicine. So I would say chemists always find a job in their life, if they want, of course. But it's also a challenging job, so you need to be really, really focused on this topic to be good in your field.
Absolutely. Only the best can make it. And speaking of the best, Nicholas, I believe you've just came from Los Angeles, from Display Week, right? We've just missed you there. We I've seen you around filming very cutting edge technologies there. It seems that OLED and micro LEDs are all that the market is all about these days, right?
Yeah, and there's quantum dots, right? And but there's also always the LCD trying to find a way.
Keep its relevance. Yeah.
Yeah, to keep competing with the new technologies and bringing all kinds of new. How did you like the Display Week?
So we went this year with a completely different mindset to Display Week. We went to Display Week to have meetings with our existing partners and perhaps build new bridges with new partners. But so we didn't have like an exhibition space. We just rented a meeting room, and we've been booked from dusk till dawn, really. And it was a very successful Display Week for us, definitely. Dozens of meetings with either partners or potential clients, but also we've met with people who were like broadening our horizon. It's every single company in the display industry, and there are a few hundred of them working on different components, are working in their labs on their technology for the whole year. And Display Week is actually a great place to compare notes, to inspire one another, see what's happening on the just in the adjacent layer of the stack, or on the testing or analytical side of things, so that we can come together and take another wave of change for the next, make another wave of change for the next year. And to that extent, I think it was a great event, and I recommend everyone who wants to be a part of this this journey, this development, to join Display Week, because you get a view into the space on every single level. You get the device guys, of course, the tried and tested applications like TV and smartphones, but you also get holograms. You get most advanced VR headsets there. You get TV dashboards and wearables and even lighting sometimes applications. And so and that's only the application and the final device side. And then you go into components. You see that some places are moving faster than the others. There are competing types of technology that over time they find their niches and applications. Some of the technologies that we mentioned, like OLED or micro LEDs or LCDs, they found their niches and they're growing within that niches. And yeah, that's just a perfect place to get the right touch and feel of where the market is going. So I don't know how about yourself, but I enjoyed Display Week very much this year.
Maybe Alicia, maybe you can try to go sit next to Mateusz, and we can share one screen, because it seems that maybe, I don't know if it's your internet, when you have multiple screens, it gets slow a little bit on your side. But is it true that, and maybe you can keep your headphones on the other, and then I'll just grab only your sound, but from one camera. And so is it true that the way it works, what's called at the Display Week, is that people are sharing all the knowledge, the latest and stuff, and when you file patent, it's not a secret anymore, right? People are not trying to steal secrets from each other. They're just trying to get updated what's happening and what's possible, to partner with these guys, partner with those guys, and get things done, right?
Absolutely. You can hear,
Yeah.
right? Okay, cool.
I hear you too.
Just making sure of that. So absolutely, it's a if you want to build advanced technology, you cannot do it in a vacuum. You always have to collaborate, and there is absolutely no intention, and I've never felt it at any level of interaction with either small or large companies in that ecosystem, that there is some malicious intent there. It's to make leapfrogs, not just 5% improvements, you need to share ideas. You need to bounce from one another. And sometimes it's good to talk to I don't know, a physicist, not only chemists, or to some IT guys who are also working on algorithms that are designing new materials. So yes, absolutely.
And I guess for you it must be fun to know that you shipped 7 kilograms to that customer, and he's from the other side of the world, and you get to meet the guy face to face, and say, "Oh my God, what do you do with all our kilograms?" Stuff like that.
Yeah, it's especially after COVID, it was interesting because we were working with with different partners and so on, but we've met them only through emails, and it's a unique time to also rekindle with people there, and so yeah, I think it's a unique space, and also when you're in a lab, you're focused on getting your daily tasks, your weekly objectives, or your quarterly objectives done. But when you go there, you just are taken away from this day-to-day operation, and you can focus on the big picture. And these are sometimes very surprising conversations that sometimes we don't allow ourselves to have on a daily basis. And this is also a huge strength of Display Week, that we can meet people that are experts in their domain, but they're also, in this mindset that day to day has been left behind, and now we're talking big and futuristic, sometimes even ideas. So yeah, I think Nicholas, this is the update from us after a year. We'd love to see you at some point in Poland, of course. If you're passing through, if you are in one place for longer than a week, give us a shout out. Right now it's China, right?
Yeah, it's China for, I'm not totally sure exactly how long, but then going back to Europe, the birthplace of Europe. I'm just joking. Yeah, cool. All right, this is awesome. Thanks a lot for doing this remote video chat update.
Thanks a lot, and yeah, let's keep changing the world one day at a time. Thanks a lot, guys.
Cool. Thanks for changing the world, by the way. That's really cool.
Thank you.
Okay. Thanks a lot.